Hey Nish,
Hello.
how are you doing today?
Good, G.
I love your look.
All thanks to
You're
you.
looking so lovely today.
Thank you.
So Nish, today what I wanted to talk about was career women and youth and the children. So because you deal so much with the youth, I wanted to understand the impact that youth have when their mother is working.
You know, what I understand from children who have working parents, especially a working mother, is I think somewhere they learn to balance out, you know, their needs and the needs of the significant other, which is the mother, the father, a lot better. There's also a better respect for, you know, a mother's role, which is not just pampering me or pandering to my needs all the time, but that she has other priorities. Like, I'm not the whole and soul of my mother's life. Yeah, so I think it's wonderful, and I think it's absolutely necessary, and it needn't be a career, G. You know, when a mother has to work, it needn't be a career. It could be even domestic work that takes up a certain amount of time, but being able to prioritize and say, you know, this is my part, and then there's maybe, you know, 2 hours or 3 hours that's there for the children, but really being able to balance that out as a mother, and for the child to know, therefore, I don't have access to my parents at my whim. This sense of entitlement, they're my parents, so you know, I can demand everything and anything from them when I choose. I think that's very, very essential. And it comes when especially when the mother is a working mom, because they don't have access to her physically. If she's out of the house, if they're not seeing her, if they call and she's not available to take your call right then. I'm also thinking, see, we're talking about where, you know, women have the power to go have a career, right, and a choice in that matter. There are so many children whose parents don't have a choice, right, because of financial circumstances or because of the health of one parent. They're forced to work. Mothers are forced to work. They have to make ends meet sometimes. So I do see that, you know, especially for those children, the impact of not having mom around can be quite devastating, can be quite hard hitting, but that's the resilience that gets built up in those children.
I think they learn so much more, because I can talk only from my kids. When I was working, even if I got like an hour to spend with them, I think the only thing that I did which really worked was I gave my 200% at that point.
In that
1 hour, I was completely theirs.
Yeah.
You know, and I think through my career, I've seen my kids have learned how to juggle, how to balance life. Even during the pandemic, you know, they actually helped me with all the household chores. And I was so grateful I taught them that, because it did make so much of a difference. Otherwise, the whole thing comes on a woman alone, right?
Beautiful point. So when a woman is working, right, we need to have our resources and support systems in place. And so many times, you know, we forget that children can be great resources, and it's a great way to divide responsibility in the home and also realize that I contribute. I live here, I can expect something, but I give back and I contribute too, right? So I think what you're talking about is so critical. A mother who is working is able to then say, hey, this is how we need to balance out. You know, mom does this, dad does this, children do this much.
My career was my choice.
Yeah.
You know? So when I got the kids, or when I was even training them to do, help me with the khana, or you know, help me with the household stuff. And from the north, normally the boys are pampered. They're like, oh, the boys don't need to do this. They don't need to learn this. And I was like, why not? Why not? I think it's very, very critical that they understand the basics of life, because they should be able to self-sustain.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. These are essential skills, no? I mean, you don't learn how to do your clothes in school, do you? They don't teach you that, but you learn it at home. And thank God for moms who, you know, make sure that whether you're a boy or a girl in the household, you learn to take care of basic needs. You know, are you able to fix yourself a quick snack if you need to? Are you able to keep your place, you know, clutter free or dust free or whatever, right?
No, it's very important because they learn the balance of life, start with whatever you can teach the kids from home. We are extremely critical in this, and what we teach our children is what they're going to be.
And carry forward in their relationships also,
Exactly.
right?
Respecting women, I
Yeah,
think that's another
yeah.
very critical aspect.
Absolutely.
That every child, every son needs to be taught, because only when they learn how to respect a woman will they grow up to be strong individuals and
Yeah.
have the right balance of life.
And the outlook to know, I think sometime earlier we were talking about stereotypes, right? To not slot a woman in a particular way of being. Yeah, so a mother may choose to be domestic and take care of the household. A mother may choose to go out and have a career, or even have a career at home while being taking care of the family and keeping everything together.
I also think because now we have so many career choices.
Yeah.
Earlier it was still, when I got into makeup, it wasn't really a known thing. Critical aspect is we should want to do it.
Yes. So that's a decision that needs to come from within, right? Not from societal norms or strictures placed on us, or what is allowed. So many times my husband allows me to work. Really, but do you allow yourself to work first? And do you make those choices? So for me, I remember when my son came along, I made a very conscious choice. I actually went back to work after my maternity leave. I went back to work, and one evening I came back home, and this small little fellow, 3-4 months old, was sucking on my cheek, toothless, just so much love. And I said, oh my God, I'm leaving this and going into work every day and missing out on this, So it was for me a decision maker. I said, no, I'm going to choose, for the first 2 years or whatever time it needed, I want to be with this boy. He's mine, I want to enjoy this space. And so I took a very conscious choice to stop working, be with him, and I really, those were harrowing times, because as a new mom, first child, you don't know what's going on around you. It wasn't easy at all, but I feel so grateful for those 2 years, for the fact that I got to enjoy. But that's my choice. See, and I had the luxury to make that choice. But some of us may not be able to. We might still need to balance out work, bringing in some money, maybe being financially independent, plus being there for the children, taking care of pets if we have them, their children that don't grow up, right? The second career break I took, G, was another very difficult decision. So I was in the corporate world for a long time, and you know how it is there. You work a lot and you get paid a lot, and it's very, very enticing. The more money you have, the more luxuries you can afford, the better lifestyle you can have. But for me, what was working in my mind is I neither felt like I was doing a good job at work, nor a good job at home as a mom. There was this constant turmoil and tug of war, like I need to miss this meeting because there's a parent-teacher meeting that I need to go to, or my child is not well. And my child is not well, but I'm thinking of that call that I need to attend to later. So, there was this constant, so I really needed to stop and ask myself some very hard questions. And one of the things I remember helping me, this was, more than 10 years ago, one of the things that really helped me was asking myself, in 10 years from now, what is going to matter to me?
True.
And the answer to that was, if I've raised a responsible, happy, loving boy, not how much money I had in the bank, not which car I drove, or I own 2 properties. That was not giving me, that was not my calling. My personal calling was my involvement in my child's development. And so I took a very, very conscious break from corporate. I moved away from that field, and that's when I chose, and I realized my passion is working with children. Yeah, and I made that decision. The reason I say this, G, is I think when we're in alignment with what is our calling, right? For me, it was being with my child, but I didn't let go of my career. For someone else, it might be that career which is such a big calling. So I think for us to honor that, the inner voices, the inner wisdom, that's saying, I feel alive, I feel whole when I'm doing this, whether it's being at home, whether it's being a career person. And when we're feeling that sort of alignment, we work from a place of strength. So I'm a strong mother, I'm a strong boss, I'm a strong police officer. Yeah, and that then it allows me to set my boundaries, how I want to be at work, how I want to be at home, and then I'm able to balance the two.
Very true. Every time I speak to my kids, because they are completely involved with what I am doing, so when children are involved, when they know that, mom's busy today,
Yeah.
they know where to draw a line, they know where to keep off. And I always tell them that my real wealth is in my children. It's the way I'm bringing you up and what you
Beautiful.
eventually become. Yes, wealth is important, but how much wealth do we need?
And we're not fighting it, because it's something that rings so true for me, right? And that helps me to, I think, be a happier person in myself and in the relationship with the child, with my husband or spouse, with my in-laws, with my parents. So I think career, working, staying home, all of these things, as long as we know this is what I want to do. Right, like earlier you were asking me, if you weren't a psychotherapist and educator, what would I do, right? And it took me a moment, but I realized I'd be very happy if I were living on a farm, many children, dogs, and maybe just growing things off the land, being very connected to nature and earth. I know that I'd be very, very happy to do that. Yeah, so. Yeah, I think if we can find our zones, no matter where it is, and really go for it there, like you said, right? Just accept where you are and give it what you have.
Also, that is the beauty of a woman, because we are so good at multitasking, and we can. I mean, I'm going to be comfortable either ways, but this is a choice I'm making, so I should be fine with it, right? I am fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm very proud being a woman and doing what I am doing, bringing up my kids the way they're coming up, and I think that's what's really important for a woman, to be content with what she's doing, the decision she's taken. Even when I took a decision of wanting to be single and bringing up my children solo, that was my decision, and I had to take on everything that came by me,
Right.
And I also think that made me stronger. Life doesn't get easier, it only makes you stronger.
Yeah.
But you have to have the courage to be able to accept your decision. It's your choice, it's your mistake, it's your, when you make it, even though you take a decision, people may point fingers, but when you become successful, they're the same people who will turn around
And clap.